a decent couple of downpours tomorrow afternoon, maybe a couple of stronger thunderstorms. Can't rule out a potential rotating system, but I don't expect to find a whole lot tomorrow, honestly, around here. We're going to watch and see what happens. We're going to catch the very trailing southern extension of maybe one of those leftover feeder bands, and that's about all. The big weather is going to be over towards the Louisiana coast, and that is going to be later on today and tonight. And then as the system races off to the north and east, areas through Mississippi and Alabama and eventually the Carolinas are going to get whatever's left of that core. We're never going to experience the core, which means we're never going to experience the worst of the weather. Now, for around here for today, it's the watching and the waiting kind of day. We got lots of clouds, lots of moisture. It's going to be warm and humid out there. Most of us in the 70s to get started. Most of us are going to top out in those middle 80s this afternoon, especially if we get a few breaks in the clouds. We could see some numbers into the upper 80s, especially east. It all depends on the showers. And like yesterday, there'll be some, but I don't think there's going to be all that many. And yeah, it may rain pretty hard for a few minutes and then move on. I think that's pretty much the setup for today with lots of clouds. Here are the numbers this morning. It's 79 at Apalachicola, 78 at Wakulla High School. Pretty much everybody else between 70 and 75. That breeze is turning a little bit more from the east to the southeast to the south. That should continue today to bring in more of the warm, more of the humid, and we're likely going to start tomorrow with those temperatures way up in the 70s again. Lots of clouds throughout the day today and tonight. We'll start looking to the west for that core to make its progress quickly through Mississippi and Alabama tomorrow. And when that happens, here comes that trailing extension, that line of showers and some thunderstorms that'll get dragged through our area tomorrow. And that could bring with it a decent couple of downpours. The system itself looking pretty healthy this morning. It got stronger throughout the day yesterday like we expected. Hopefully it'll start to run into a little bit more resistance in the upper levels as it gets closer to the Louisiana coast so it can stop getting stronger. The core, you can see that eye down here, still almost 300 miles south of the Louisiana coast, and it's about 120 miles or so to the north of that core that we see some of those bigger bursts of convection. That shows us those individual thunderstorms that are really ramping itself up. Now, as that continues to move more towards the north, areas from the Florida Panhandle all the way out to the Mississippi coast can expect some tropical storm-like conditions with the high winds and waves. But that's about all. The hurricane conditions are going to be confined to Mississippi and Louisiana's coast. Got lots to break down with our forecast. Some really good stuff coming. I'll do that on the other side.
CTV Pinpoint Weather with meteorologist Rob Nucatola.
Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Today, the waiting and watching as we keep our eyes on Hurricane ZETA. That's going to be moving north through the Gulf. If there was no hurricane to talk about, we'd be really talking about all this nasty semi-wintry weather from parts of North Texas and in through central Oklahoma that's trying to move east where all the cool air is. Now, that cooler air is going to get here, and it's going to be well after all the moisture is gone, so Myers don't get any ideas for around here. But what's going to happen for us is we keep it real warm and muggy today, tonight, tomorrow, and then everything changes. Fall arrives for real, and maybe it's going to stick around starting Friday. We're at 74 in Tallahassee right now, also 74 in Valdosta. We're at 72 degrees in Thomasville with a pretty good breeze coming from the southeast and south, and it's going to perk up a little bit at times today. Most of us are in the mid-70s, at 78 at Wakulla, 79 at Apalachicola. Those should be daytime highs this time of the year, and they will be this weekend. Visibilities are all doing pretty well, so no real fog concerns. That breeze is shifting, and we're going to watch what's going on with ZETA very carefully. That eye, pretty well distinguished. There's some decent convection bubbling up around the center, indicates a pretty healthy storm system. Still a couple of hundred miles, almost 300 miles from the Louisiana coast, and that bigger convection where the most thunderstorms are, about 100 miles or so just north of that center. During the day today, they're going to start spreading that rain through parts of Louisiana coast. By tonight, when landfall happens, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, it's going to continue to race off to the north, moving very fast, like 17 miles per hour. The faster it moves, the better, because then it gets in and gets out. But there's going to be this trailing line of showers and storms that gets pulled through our area tomorrow. So our impacts come tomorrow as the core of the storm is rapidly weakening and moving way off to the north. We could still get some stronger thunderstorms and some decent downpours with that line, and the cooler air is still going to be way back here tomorrow. So we're likely going to have to wait till Friday to bring in that cooler air. But when it gets here, it's going to feel real nice. 85-mile-per-hour sustained winds with this storm now. Could get a little stronger. Hopefully it'll start to run into some resistance before landfall. We'll be watching that carefully throughout the day. On the Gulf today, small crafts use some caution, getting more breezy. Winds out of the east and southeast 12 to 24. Those winds are going to increase a little bit more, especially west of Apalachicola tonight and tomorrow. Got the low tides going on this morning, high tides this afternoon. Our forecast for today, more mid-80s, a few scattered showers, not because of the tropical system. Tomorrow, our rain chances crank up, especially late morning and afternoon. That is because of Zeta, and if we're going to get some bigger thunderstorms, that's tomorrow. The cooler arrives Friday. Fall-like weather weekend, guys. Looks so nice.